Welcome to episode 15 of Nerd Stalker. I'm Adolfo Fronda, and we interview the CEO of Apture, Tristan Harris.
I'm Tristan, the CEO and co-founder of Apture, which is a totally new way of communicating on web pages. So we're working with both bloggers and publishers. The idea is we want to totally enhance and empower people who want to tell stories in any context, wherever they are. So our software works on any web page. So even though we work primarily with big publishers like the BBC, the Washington Post, BBC we did trial with, we're giving our software away for free to bloggers. So you can actually get our one line of code and put it on your website today. And
So it's one line
free.
of code.
It's literally one line of code. So it's basically, if you have Google Analytics, you put Google Analytics, it's one line of code on your body page. You do the same thing with our software. And just with the one line of code, it enables everything that we allow you to do. And as we add more and more features, that one line of code, you don't change it, you just get more great stuff over time.
How does the blogger set that sort of information, what they want to appear? I saw, again, there was Wikipedia, there was YouTube, there was all kinds of stuff happening. Can you tell us about the various features and what kind of partnerships you guys have? And how does the blogger sort of control that? Or, your customer, a big customer as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So basically, our software lets you incorporate any type of multimedia that you want. So what I really mean any type. So a lot of startups use the three canonical examples: Wikipedia, Flickr, and YouTube.
Okay.
So everybody does that.
Right.
We're trying to provide the entire world's multimedia library to every single person who's publishing information anywhere. So what I mean by that,
you don't have exclusive customers then, or something like that, or tie-ins. You're saying I can use anyone's?
Yeah. So currently we've integrated with a certain set of multimedia libraries.
Okay.
And those include, you mentioned Wikipedia, we have IMDb, we have Amazon, we have videos from something like 20 different providers. So we've got, YouTube, Hulu, Veo, Rever, Metacafe, ESPN, Reuters. We just did something with Reuters. And you can basically search all of those different libraries, and it's sort of your universe, it's your color palette of media. And you're an artist, and you want to paint the story the way you want to paint it. Sure. You can pick that color, that media, and that media, and then choose the word on the page you want to link it to.
So how are you guys making money? What's the monetization sort of?
Yeah, so currently we don't make money off of bloggers. We don't plan to make money off of the bloggers. We reserve the right to put advertising on the windows, but for bloggers, but we don't do that. We're trying not to do that. Currently, we work with big publishers on a revenue-sharing basis, and so one of the ways we talk about our software, it's often misinterpreted as, oh, these guys are just doing pop-ups, right? But it's about the idea that if you want to enrich your page, you can only add so much content before it gets too long. Right. And as I think I said up there, it's sort of like Manhattan. You can only build out so far this way. You can start building up, right? Sure. And so we want to let people add those layers to build up on the page without making them leave. We were graduate students at Stanford University, and we were working with the Stanford Knight Fellows to try and say, we're looking at this medium and saying it's the richest medium we've ever had to communicate any information, period, besides real-life experience, meaning every other medium we've ever had, radio, television, video, all of that stuff is by definition somewhat less, just strictly less than what we've got now with the web, which combines all of it together. Sure. So the real question is, why aren't we doing more? Right. If you remember Microsoft Encarta, 1995, right? Or Growler's, pick your encyclopedia. There was a bunch of these applications, right? Big encyclopedias. 1995, that was a richer experience in some ways than our day-to-day experience in the internet. Now, not to say that every page of the internet should be an encyclopedia, but there's this idea that,
No, I hear you. Like the CD-ROM sort of experience, it was pretty interactive and a lot more,
Exactly.
More to it. At that time, it seemed like. Yeah.
Right, and it's funny, the word multimedia is more associated with the word CD-ROM than it is with the idea of multiple media, being able to experience and present multiple media. Yeah. So what we're trying to say is, look, we're 13 years after, it's like, Microsoft Encarta. Shouldn't we be able to do something more than that? And so what we're trying to do is give people the tools that aren't cumbersome, that don't rely on HTML, something that only technical people can understand some of those tools today. We want to build a point-and-click way for anybody to tell that story in a rich way. So we work with the Knight Fellows at Stanford, which are these journalists that come from all around the world, and They come to basically spend time and learn, take classes, and do whatever they want, really. And we approached them and said, look, we want to tell stories on the web in a different way. We want to tell us about your profession, tell us about the problems that your companies are facing. And the newspaper industry was tanking at that time and still is. And we're just about trying to enhance that experience. And that really led us on a path of broadening how all information on the web is communicated. Like one of the examples I showed there was a Craigslist ad. If you're reading a Craigslist ad, how many Craigslist ads of a house do you read? It sounds exactly the same.
Right.
You know, the bios of the people make it more interesting. But the house itself, oh, there's so many. There's 2 bedrooms. There's, you know, a bathroom. There's etc. It doesn't matter. What really matters is show me the place. Get me differentiated for me. Rich communication matters. And
Well, what were like the pitfalls or the tough things, advice that you have for someone starting a startup?
I think it's very Zen-like. I think no matter what challenge you choose to take on in your life that's difficult, no one is ever going to basically say, oh yeah, you should do that.
Right.
It's always impossible. So the only way to do it is just take the first step. It sounds really simple, but you just have to just decide one day that you're going to do it. I think you should really have a strong conviction, though. I think there's, especially in the Valley, there's too much of a sentiment of, you know, I need to do a startup.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You know, there's a great article I read once about Steve Jobs. Someone came up to him and said, "I want to start a company," and he said, "Well, that's great, but what does your company do?" And he said, "I don't know yet." You know, he said that's fine, but I think you should be a waiter for a little while and figure out what you want from life first.
Yeah.
I think that's probably pretty mean, but the idea being that you really should know really what you want to do every day, because startups are hard work. Yeah, I mean, it's incomprehensibly hard work. And it consumes your life. And if it's going to do that, you better as hell love what you do every day.
You guys based out of?
We're in San Mateo right now.
And your infrastructure and architecture, are you guys running on Amazon S3 or what's happening?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we're actually running on Django and Python, and hosted by Rackspace, the same guys who hosted YouTube.
Oh, awesome.
So Google App Engine also runs on Django and Python. So we're basing our software on the same software that powers that Google App Engine. And then the front end, it's all JavaScript based. And we're really pushing the boundaries, I think, on what you can do with JavaScript. I mean, just totally rich application experiences that you can do that, you know, with the scripting language, you know. And I think that people are starting to really push that. And when we see with Google Chrome and Safari are both tweaking their JavaScript engines to be about 8 times faster than the previous builds or what they're now reporting. And I think that's going to have a significant impact on the ability for people to create those kinds of rich applications.
Right. So speaking of, what browsers are you supporting? What operating systems?
Great question. So our software works on every browser platform. So Safari, Firefox, IE, works on Chrome. It's the new Google browser. It also works on any blogging platform. So whether it's WordPress or Typepad or it's even just your personal website, it works on your website.
Do you guys have angel investment, or who's your backer?
Yeah, so we're backed by, we did a seed round of angel investment. Our angel investors were Paul Moritz, who's the CEO of VMware.
Oh, wow.
Bo Vrolic, who is one of the number 2 guys at SGI, and Steve Taylor, who's actually the founder and COO of Boston.com, which is one of the first online publishing, the Boston Globe website. And that's who we started with, and we've been floating right along with a very small, lean, but very talented team of people who've been able to sort of secure these relationships with large publishers.
So if we want to get a hold of you, how do we get a hold of you? Our viewers out there and bloggers,
yeah, sure. Just contact us at contact@apture.com. We're also hiring, so we're looking for great engineers. If you're a talented Django and Python developer, or you're a rock star JavaScript person who understands the science of the language, let's talk.
And so where do we find you guys? What's the URL?
Yeah, sorry, it's www.apture.com. Apture is spelled like capture without the C.
So thanks so much for your time.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Welcome to CEO.